So in today's video, I'm going to talk about what being a neet has kind of taught me. So for those of you who don't know, a neet is someone who is not in education, employment, or training. Now, technically, I may not qualify for the definition because I work at Target, and I work part time. I'm on demand, as they call it. It's not really like a job. I've worked there for like 4 years. I don't really like it a lot. I don't really like it a lot, but it gets me out of the house, gets me doing something, and puts money in my wallet occasionally. But one thing I've kind of realized after I just graduated school about a month ago from college, I had got a master's in computer science. Now, that's kind of messed up even now. So I graduated in 2024 with my bachelor's, and now I got my master's right now. Even when I graduated in 2024, I couldn't even find a job at all. But now I'm in the same boat about a year and a half later. So it's kind of weird right now. I'm still trying to figure things out. But on to the stuff I learned from being a NEET. So one of the things I learned was that, see, most of the time when we're in school, like most of the time for most of our lives, we've been in school, work, just someplace where we've had our schedule, our day, our to-do list, our agenda plotted out for us by somebody else. But kind of when you're unemployed, you kind of have to will yourself to do something. I really do think I can make this YouTube channel something that's big, or something that can at least put a little money in my wallet, or I can at least make money through YouTube with my other channels, which I might talk about in the future. But it's like there's no one, I guess, coming to save you. There's no one who's going to come and check up on you, I come from a great family and everything like that, but at the end of the day, the only way I'm going to get out of my situation is if I'm actively doing something every day, like recording videos, editing them, etc., that's trying to get me out of my current situation or predicament. But outside of that, there's no way that, all of a sudden things are just going to line up for me. Like as a NEET, you kind of learn you have to kind of push yourself, will yourself, You're kind of like a boat with no sails, You're stuck in the river and all you get is a paddle. And you have to decide the direction you want to go. And then number two, I would say, is that like free time is great, but it's not necessarily everything. Although I do like having free time personally. You always want to have your time occupied by something. And, one of the most brutal truths I've learned from like my time in NEETdom, I guess, I don't know if I even really qualify for a definition because, again, I work at Target, is that like time is that life goes on essentially. Like if you spend it, life goes on. If you spend like a year doing nothing, 6 months doing nothing, 3 months doing nothing, it doesn't, a week goes by, 2 weeks go by, 3 weeks go by. That's why I actually try to go out of the house, try to put myself in situations where I actually have to be doing something or actively doing something. Free time is great because you get to examine your life. You get to try to order yourself in the best, because I feel like sometimes we're in the modern world, we're like rats on a hamster wheel. We're jumping from one thing to the next. You have to get educated, spend 12 years and then an additional 4 or 5 or 6 years at school. Then you have to hop into a job, do that for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, plus marriage, kid, mortgage, house, etc. And then you retire when you're 60-something. It's like people put this emphasis on free time like it's this great thing. Free time is great, but it more matters what you do with it than anything else. Like, imagine being like, because I know so many people who are 65, 70, 80 even, who I've checked out before at Target, or people I know personally, who are just like, I can't just sit at home all day. I have to go out and work and work and work and work and work. Like, I think we've forgotten like the purpose of working and all the stuff. We work so that we may have leisure. That's like Socrates said, I'm getting all philosophical in this video, but that's kind of the whole idea. Like the whole goal of work isn't to work. You don't work so that you may work more. You work so you might have leisure. You work so you can rest, so you can take care of your family, so you can, take care of your house, your personal surroundings, environment, or whatever, And then, so with that, like free time matters. It doesn't really matter because so many people look forward towards retirement, and they're like, once I retire, I'll finally have the time to do whatever I want. And some people, they die, before they're able to retire, or they're not able to enjoy their retirement as they should. For me, I'm going to the gym more often. I'm kind of having more fun personally, going out to places and such, trying to have fun or whatever. And again, a third thing I learned from being a NEET is that it's kind of hard to get a job in modern America. Like, because there's a bunch of people, you see all the news articles. Oh, why is Gen Z not working? Why is it, there's all these jobs and people aren't willing to work them. They must be lazy. Like Walmart, Target, 7-Eleven, Amazon warehouse, all those McDonald's, Burger King, Shake Shack, KFC, all those menial labor, part-time jobs are always going to be there. But most people don't want to work them. I don't think Gen Z is lazy in the sense I don't know, it's kind of weird. I know some people who are lazy because I do think we have more opportunities to make money than prior generations. Like prior generations, you needed a loan, you needed a house, you needed capital. Nowadays, you have the internet. There's ways to make money without walking up to a bank and filling out an application. But I feel like for the top level jobs, especially in my profession, because comp sci right now is all messed up. AI is coming in and it is taking jobs. I think not in a direct way, but in the sense that more companies are less willing to hire newer, more fresh graduates or junior positions because AI can kind of fill that gap, and it's only getting better. ChatGPT 5.5 recently came out, and it's already you can create games from scratch in the browser. There's models that allow you to do really nice, stable image diffusion, video generation, even very nice voice cloning and stuff like that. It's only getting better. In the future, we could have pure platforms like YouTube that are just purely made by AI agents and stuff like that, and fill with AI content. Kind of how YouTube is already becoming. It's really hard to get a job because you have to apply, you have to go through all these interviews. Most of the jobs I apply, it's never just one round of interview. It's always 2, 3, and then occasionally there's a background check, and then you have to submit a drug test. There's 3 rounds of interview before you get to the onboarding process, and even then you're not safe, I remember I had a job interview where I had to go through 3 rounds of interview just for them to tell me that, oh, I did badly on the last round of interview and that I should learn how to say, I don't know. But it's just crazy. You have to go through all these rounds of interview and stuff like that. It's really hard to get a good job. Getting McDonald's, Burger King, all this stuff's easy, but to get a solid job that pays, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, even 100 grand nowadays, I don't even think is enough to support a family. Because after taxes, Social Security is going to take 11.5%, I think. In my state, it's around 11.5% before tax. But some states have income tax. Mine doesn't really have a high income tax. And then the fourth one is you kind of realize but it's just really hard to get a nice paying job nowadays. All the rounds of interview, the competition, you're competing for people around the world, especially in tech. I think it's kind of messed up because I think we're switching back as an economy from everything being online to everything being shifted back to in person. So in a way, I am kind of jealous of those who went to school for trades, but I understand it's tough on the body and it's not all that glitters is gold. Not every TikTok, for every TikTok you see of some 25-year-old guy making $50 an hour being a plumber, there's a 60-something, 50-something-year-old guy who's making less than that or hasn't quite gotten up to that income range or whatever. But I don't know. I think the biggest thing I've learned from just being a NEET is just a lot of your friendships and relationships come from school, work, etc. Everybody talks about the third place. This idea of there's this book I think it's called Bowling Alone or something like that, and it talks about this idea that the reason why it's harder for people to why mental illness is on the rise and it's hard to meet new people and it's hard to talk to new people and form relationships and stuff like that. It's because there's a lack of a third place. It used to be your first place is where you sleep, the second place is where you make money, and then the third place is where there's some common thing that brings you together. For a lot of people nowadays, especially in Gen Z, it's the gym. But apart from that, before that, it used to be stuff church, but I do see especially in Gen Z, there's a trend back towards religion, at least online. Because I remember growing up on early 2012, 13, 14, 15 era, there was a lot of anti-religious content. You had guys amazing atheist, genetically modified skeptic. What's his name? Alex O'Connor, or something like that. Now I'm Christian myself, so I'm obviously biased when I talk about this stuff. But now you see a shift back towards that. There's a lot of Catholic content creators. There's a lot of Christian content creators. There's a lot of Eastern Orthodox uh, Christian content creators in general. You see this trend towards religion again. But overall, society itself is still largely religious. But that lack of a third place, especially if you're like a neet, you're living at home, I have to fight the urge sometimes to sit on my laptop or my PC and just play Valorant all day. Like I have to go out, do things like recording this video, and actually try to find my own third place and stuff like that. It's like an interesting paradox or whatever. When you're free to do, it's like the paradox of choice or whatever. When you're free to do anything, when you're free to do everything, it's hard to pick one thing and stick to it. And so for me, the biggest thing has been like finding a schedule, staying structured. Because at school you have, 7 a.m. you have to be there, 2:30 you leave when I was in high school, But nowadays, like as a neat, I can sit at home all day on my laptop and play Valorant or play Minecraft or whatever, and no one will bother me. No one really cares whether you succeed or don't succeed. And I mean, a lot of I still consider a lot of people I went to school with friends, but ever since I've graduated and stuff like that, it's summer breaks. Everybody's out enjoying their lives. And even after summer break is over, everybody's going to go back to school or whatever they do. So I kind of realized, like, as a neat, there's a lack of a third place. And also you kind of have to force yourself to go and do things, whether it's going to the bar, whether it's going out to, your local plaza or whatever, going downtown or whatever, anything like that. So, meeting up with others, et cetera. Even dating, finding relationships, it's stuff you have to do. Whereas in school, it seemed like it came naturally because you're all in the same environment together, and things just kind of happen naturally. But now you actually have to go up, and it's become a different thing. But and I kind of want to finish the video off with this. It's kind of cool, though, I say, in a way, because it's being a needs given me the most opportunity to kind of improve my life. I have plans to visit Germany and stuff like that. Well, I have plans to visit like Germany later this year, but I'm kind of broke AF right now. And I don't really want to work at Target or whatever. It doesn't make a lot of money. But it's kind of weird right now where I'm kind of in that stage where, being a need also gives you the opportunity to improve your life, to do the things you want to do, to pursue things outside of school. I've noticed myself to be, I'm less stressed. I get better sleep. I feel like I'm in better physical shape, better physical condition than what I was, when I was going to school, doing all this type of stuff. I think clearer. My mind's better. I feel better. I'm just generally happier and more satisfied with my life after I quit school. I never realized like how much stress school and all this stuff brings on you when you're in it. But now that you're out of it, it's like, you miss the purpose and structure, but also I don't really miss the stress that comes with it. But yeah, that's really all I have for today's video. Like and subscribe, and I'll try to have another one. I try to have these out usually like a week or every 10 days, but thank you.